The 1930s were a time of great upheaval in East Asia. The region was marked by rapid changes, both socially and politically, as nations grappled with internal and external pressures. Japan, driven by militarism and expansionist ambitions, sought to establish dominance in the region. The Japanese government, heavily influenced by military leaders, pursued aggressive policies aimed at expanding their empire. China, struggling with internal divisions and political instability, became a prime target for Japanese aggression. The country was fragmented, with warlords controlling different regions, and the central government struggling to maintain control. The seeds of conflict were sown in the years leading up to 1937 as Japan's military influence grew and China's internal struggles intensified. The Japanese military conducted numerous drills and preparations, signaling their intentions. The world watched with growing concern as tensions escalated between the two Asian powers. International diplomats held numerous meetings, attempting to mediate and prevent a full-scale war, but their efforts were often in vain. Japan's annexation of Korea in 1910 had already demonstrated its imperial ambitions. The occupation of Korea served as a stepping stone for further expansion into mainland Asia. Now, with a resurgent military and a sense of national destiny, Japan set its sights on the resource-rich regions of mainland China. The Japanese government believed that controlling these areas was essential for their economic and strategic interests. For China, the 1930s were a period of immense internal turmoil. The country was embroiled in a civil war between the nationalists and the communists, each vying for control and influence. The country was divided between the ruling nationalist government, led by Chiang Kai-shek, and the rising communist forces under Mao Zedong. This division weakened China's ability to present a united front against external threats. This internal conflict weakened China's ability to resist Japanese encroachment, setting the stage for a clash that would have profound consequences for the entire world. The Chinese people faced immense hardships, with many becoming refugees as their homes were destroyed. The stage was set for a confrontation that would plunge East Asia and eventually the world into a long and devastating war. The military build-ups and diplomatic failures of the 1930s foreshadowed the global conflict that was to come. The coming conflict would test the resilience of the Chinese people, redraw the map of Asia, and leave an enduring legacy on international relations. The impact of the war would be felt for generations, shaping the future of East Asia and the world. In 1931, Japan, seeking raw materials and driven by a sense of imperial destiny, orchestrated an incident in Manchuria, a region in northeastern China. This event, known as the Mukden Incident, provided the pretext for Japan's invasion and subsequent occupation of the entire region. The international community condemned Japan's actions, but concrete measures to stop the aggression were limited. The League of Nations, formed in the aftermath of World War I to prevent future conflicts, proved ineffective in reining in Japan's expansionist ambitions. The United States, preoccupied with the Great Depression, issued diplomatic protests but stopped short of direct intervention. This lack of a resolute response emboldened Japan and set a dangerous precedent for future aggression. Japan's occupation of Manchuria marked a turning point in the region's history. The puppet state of Manchukuo was established with the last Qing emperor Puyi as its nominal head. This act of blatant aggression signaled Japan's determination to assert its dominance in East Asia, regardless of international condemnation. The Manchurian crisis served as a stark warning of the growing threat posed by Japanese militarism. However, the world's failure to effectively respond to this act of aggression only emboldened Japan's leaders, setting the stage for a wider conflict that would soon engulf the entire region. On the night of July 7, 1937, a seemingly minor incident near the Marco Polo Bridge not far from Beijing spiraled into a full-blown war. This bridge, also known as the Lugu Bridge, became the flashpoint for a conflict that would engulf the region and have far-reaching consequences. Japanese and Chinese troops exchanged fire under disputed circumstances, igniting a conflict that would last for 8 long years. The skirmish, initially seen as a minor border incident, quickly escalated as both sides mobilized their forces. The Marco Polo Bridge incident, as it became known, marked the beginning of the Second Sino-Japanese War. This war would become one of the largest and most devastating conflicts in Asia during the 20th century. Japan, using the incident as a pretext, launched a full-scale invasion of China. The Japanese military, driven by imperial ambitions, sought to expand its influence and control over East Asia. Japanese forces, better equipped and with a clear military objective, made rapid advances into Chinese territory. Their superior firepower and well-coordinated strategies allowed them to capture key cities and territories with alarming speed. Cities like Shanghai and Nanjing fell to the invading army, marking the beginning of a brutal and costly conflict. The fall of Nanjing in particular was marked by horrific atrocities, including mass executions and widespread violence against civilians, known as the Nanjing Massacre. The Chinese people, despite facing a formidable enemy, mounted a determined resistance. Both the nationalist and communist forces, though often at odds with each other, united against the common enemy, demonstrating remarkable resilience and bravery. The nationalist government, led by Chiang Kai-shek, relocated to the interior city of Chongqing, continuing the fight from there. Chongqing became the wartime capital and a symbol of Chinese resistance, enduring relentless bombing raids and hardships. The communists, under Mao Zedong, also engaged in guerrilla warfare against the Japanese, exploiting their knowledge of the terrain and the support of the peasantry. Their tactics of hit-and-run attacks and sabotage played a crucial role in the prolonged struggle. The Marco Polo Bridge incident transformed a localized clash into a war of attrition that would consume China and draw in other world powers. The conflict eventually merged into the broader context of World War II, further complicating the global geopolitical landscape. It marked the beginning of one of the most brutal chapters in human history, a testament to the horrors of war and the resilience of the human spirit. The war left an indelible mark on China, shaping its modern history and the collective memory of its people. The legacy of the Marco Polo Bridge incident serves as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of conflict and the enduring strength of those who resist oppression. Section 4. A nation embattled the resistance of China. Faced with a ruthless invader, the Chinese people displayed extraordinary courage and resilience. Their spirit was unbroken, even in the face of overwhelming odds and relentless attacks. The Second Sino-Japanese War was not a conflict confined to battlefields. It was a total war that engulfed the lives of millions of ordinary Chinese citizens. Cities were bombed, villages were razed, and countless lives were disrupted. Despite facing overwhelming military superiority, the Chinese people resisted with unwavering determination, employing various tactics to repel the invaders. From conventional warfare to guerrilla tactics, every possible method was used to fight back. The Nationalist Army, though outmatched in terms of firepower and technology, fought bravely against the Japanese. They stood their ground in numerous battles, showcasing their resolve and bravery. They engaged in large-scale battles, inflicting heavy casualties on the enemy, even when facing defeat. These battles were fierce and often resulted in significant losses on both sides. The Chinese Air Force, though small, valiantly defended the skies, inspiring hope and defiance in the hearts of the people. Their efforts, though limited by resources, were crucial in maintaining morale. The Chinese communists, operating in the countryside, waged a relentless guerrilla campaign against the Japanese. Their knowledge of the terrain and ability to mobilize local support made them a formidable force. They disrupted supply lines, ambushed patrols, and exploited their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. These guerrilla tactics were instrumental in weakening the Japanese forces. This strategy, while effective, also came at a cost, with civilians often caught in the crossfire. The war brought immense suffering to the civilian population, who endured great hardships. The resistance of the Chinese people, both military and civilian, was a testament to their indomitable spirit. Their collective efforts showcased a unity and determination that was truly remarkable. Despite facing unimaginable hardships, they refused to be subjugated. Their daily lives were marked by struggle, yet they continued to resist in every way possible. Their unwavering resistance not only tied down Japanese forces, but also bought valuable time for the Allies in other theaters of World War II. The bravery and resilience of the Chinese people played a crucial role in the broader context of the war, contributing significantly to the eventual Allied victory. Section 5, the Nanjing Massacre, a scar on humanity. In December 1937, after capturing the Chinese capital of Nanjing, Japanese troops unleashed a wave of unimaginable brutality upon the city's inhabitants. The Nanjing Massacre, as it became known, stands as one of the darkest chapters in human history, a chilling testament to the horrors of war and the depths of human depravity. Over a period of 6 weeks, Japanese soldiers engaged in widespread murder, rape, and looting. Hundreds of thousands of Chinese civilians and disarmed soldiers were systematically killed in a frenzy of violence. The streets of Nanjing ran red with blood as the city became a scene of unimaginable horror. The scale and barbarity of the Nanjing Massacre shocked the world. Eyewitness accounts from foreign missionaries and journalists documented the atrocities committed by the Japanese troops. These accounts, filled with harrowing details, exposed the true nature of Japan's war in China. The Nanjing Massacre remains a deeply sensitive issue in relations between China and Japan. It serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of war and the enduring legacy of conflict. The memory of this atrocity continues to haunt the collective consciousness of both nations, a wound that time has yet to fully heal.